Highrock is here to help. But right now, Highrock needs your help to keep doing that. Because although we're serving more people in more ways than ever, and despite spending less than planned, we're further behind budget than ever. I know, aren't we often behind budget this time of year? Yes. But this year is very different because our giving is down about 30% from where we usually are at this time of year. So today, I want to share with you what I treasure about Highrock and why I truly believe that it's not only different from many other churches, it's being used to make a difference that I couldn't have imagined even 3 years ago. Highrock's mission is to create Christian communities that inspire curiosity and compassion. These three key concepts are lenses that help us see what makes Highrock so special. First, we build Christian communities, which is already countercultural, given the trends towards individualism. Growing social isolation and polarization mean that most community organizations are disappearing, including bowling leagues and Rotary clubs and country clubs, and yes, even churches. This has led not only to increased loneliness, but also to increased levels of fear and hostility. God warned that it's not good for us to be alone, and we're all seeing why, as rates of depression, violence, and suicide are all on the rise. So many of us wish we could do something. And because of your support, we are doing something by creating Christian communities in which people are simultaneously cherished and challenged to cherish others. Yes, I'm talking about our 5 congregations that do this every Sunday, but Highrock has hundreds more of these communities meeting in person and online 7 days a week. Right now, we have more people than ever in small groups, by far, including Moms Rock, our sermon study groups, and theology lab. Thanks to your support, our youth groups are growing both larger and deeper as the next generation is discovering Jesus and themselves in the context of a supportive community. I see the way that's helping my own kids grow in love for God and for others and for themselves. And as a parent, there isn't anything I want more. Beyond our official groups are the personal connections that Highrock cultivates. I see this every week as Highrockers bring meals to people who just had a baby or a surgery, pray for each other faithfully, and just enjoy each other after service on Sundays. I see it in the unexpected friendships that have been built across lines of age, race, political party, and social class, groups that are too often locked in opposition, but at Highrock we're reunited by God's love for us all. As a result, I see teens who feel valued by people much older and respond by doing the same thing as high schoolers volunteer to lead middle schoolers, and middle schoolers serve in Kids Rock. I see strangers and recent immigrants being embraced as family. This isn't an accident. We believe that part of Jesus' mission was to break down society's boundaries that keep us from loving and learning from people who aren't just like us. This is why we're so grateful for our Revelation 7 preaching faculty who challenge us with wider variety of voices. They can share perspectives we might not hear otherwise and help us see injustice that we've too long overlooked. They do much more than just preach. They speak into every level of leadership at Highrock, and it's changing us. And this reflects the second element of our mission that I love, curiosity. These days, the world feels chaotic and out of control. So many leaders try to comfort people with the illusion of certainty, suggesting that we've got things all figured out, so there's no more need to keep learning. We're right. And anyone who disagrees with us must be either ignorant or evil. That way of thinking is common these days, but it's just not true or healthy for us as a society or as individuals. The Bible insists that we'll never get God all figured out. In fact, Jeremiah points out that we even struggle to understand ourselves. So we need the humility to keep learning and keep listening to people who see things we may not. For that reason, our communities encourage curiosity about God, each other, and ourselves. We continually question our assumptions and emotions that may be distorting our conclusions. You see this in our sermons, small groups, daily devotions, our catalog of classes, and our next-gen ministries that are less interested in rules than life-giving relationships with Jesus and one another. But nowhere is this value more evident than in our theology lab, which is unlike anything I've ever seen in any other church. It's a safe space to discuss difficult ideas within a diverse community. I'm so proud of the challenging topics that have been broached and the caliber of the conversations being had. Not only minds, but lives are being changed there. Yes, the top-notch panelists and production teams have been expensive, but by offering this over the internet without charge, we've been able to engage countless people all over the world who are seeking nuanced conversations about theology, spirituality, and society. While our current series on evangelicalism is getting the most attention, our series on Asian American theology and Black theology are remarkable resources that have been offered for free in order to welcome as many people to the conversation as possible. But it's not enough to learn about the love of God. Following Jesus means putting that love into action, which is why our communities inspire compassion. Now, I could share so many ways Highrockers are doing that, but for now, let me highlight just a few. Community Partners hosts regular meals for our neighbors with cognitive disabilities to develop deeper friendships with the church and one another. And the Accessibility Ministry ensure kids with physical or social disabilities can be fully included on Sundays. Meanwhile, Highrock Behind Bars offers tutoring, mentorship, and friendship to people in prison and those who've been recently released to facilitate more successful reentries. Everybody wins when we do that. Neighbor to Neighbor, a nonprofit run by Highrockers, not only shares food with people in need, it also provides local entrepreneurs from marginalized groups with coaching and connections as they face legal, financial, or leadership challenges. Much more than simply teach English, our Japanese ministries offer community where dozens of people have met Jesus for the very first time, and some of them have become our most enthusiastic evangelists. Every December, our annual Jog for Joy raises money to support teenagers struggling with mental health. These ministries are beautiful, but no more so than the thousands of small acts of compassion that happen all year long as Highrockers follow Jesus by loving sacrificially. And I haven't even mentioned all the ministries we partner with around the globe to serve people in places including India and Sri Lanka, Uganda, the Mexican border, and underserved parts of Boston. This year, Highrock will give over $700,000 to support other ministries doing incredible work among vulnerable populations all over the world. Speaking of money, I know this is a difficult time financially for a lot of us, and it's especially a difficult time for Highrock, as I mentioned earlier. To finish 2022 on budget and sustain all these ministries within and beyond Highrock, we need about $2 million to be donated in the next 6 weeks. So I'm asking you to give sacrificially, because I'm prouder of what Highrock is doing than I've ever been. But we're in a tighter spot than we've ever been. Your faithful support maintains the spaces where Japanese people are meeting Jesus, rooms where our kids are being discipled, and kitchens and common areas where people are welcomed after walking into a church for the very first time. It also funds our online presence so that people who are spiritually homeless but yearning for community and for Christ are finding meaningful new connections. It also compensates pastors and staff who aren't seeking a platform, but who walk with people in their darkest moments, lead sacrificially, and equip the saints for the good work they've been created for in Christ. I can't think of any more effective way to invest in the full spectrum of God's work than through Highrock Church. So will you join me in giving generously so that next November I can tell you even more inspiring stories about all the ways that God continues to transform and heal? Thank you for listening and for your partnership in this ministry.